We live so much of our lives now online, it's inevitable that we have to divulge some personal information in the process. But that doesn't mean we should be held hostage to unscrupulous scammers.
My heart dropped. I can see the transactions coming out of my bank account, 5,000, 10,000. The horror,
I got done up like a kipper, basically.
In the last year, the UK has lost almost £500 million to internet scams.
So my balance is said zero. I just felt physically sick.
I've lost all this money. You've not lost it. It's been stolen.
The scammer's victims are left out of pocket and vulnerable.
It starts to make you doubt almost everything.
These guys out there know so much about me, and I've not given permission for that.
I felt stupid. I felt like completely humiliated by it.
My mum Mavis and I are uncovering invaluable lessons for all ages as we look how to stay safe online and avoid the fraudsters' traps.
The more information that the scammers have on you, the more problems you have.
The bank will never, ever ask you to move money.
As well as meeting the people working to apprehend the fraudsters responsible.
So we can protect ourselves from the dirty, rotten scammers.
Today, we'll be discovering how fraudsters create the perfect conditions to catch us out.
because it was so calm, it was so precise, there was no reason to doubt it.
Our experts will help us get into the minds of the scammers.
They're all trying to find a little bit about you that allows them to unlock doors that they shouldn't actually have permission to enter.
And gather everything we need to stay one step ahead of the hackers.
No one is immune to a cyber attack, but there's tools out there that can help us.
Because we all need protection from the dirty, rotten scammers.
Mum, if you thought you could protect your money by moving it into a safe account, would you do it?
I probably would, because I think it's going to be safe.
What if I told you there's no such thing as a safe account?
Why does that not surprise me, Michelle?
Well, we're on our way to meet Paula, who got a phone call on a Friday evening telling her to move her money into a safe account. Turns out it was anything but safe.
Busy working mum Paula is used to juggling the demands of modern life. But that well-timed phone call threatened to bring it all tumbling down.
Tell us what happened to you then.
So it was December, Friday the 13th actually.
Dear, not a good start.
Not a good start. It was around 6 o'clock. The kids were around. So it was kind of like, you know, busy time of the evening.
Choose the moment.
Yeah. My mobile phone went and they said it was NatWest fraud unit. And they told me that someone had tried to use my card in Manchester to buy Mercedes. And was that me? It wasn't me. So the guy said, I think your account's been hacked.
Wow.
And because it was so calm, it was so precise, it was just, there was no reason to doubt it. So then he said, I'll pass you on to our accounts line. This is at the point where I started to think, hold on a minute, I just want to be sure. They said, I tell you what, we will call you back on the number that's on the back of your debit card.
Oh my gosh. How the heck can you do that?
You would just not doubt that.
So I said, OK, no problem. They called me back. So then he said, can you move all your money out of that account? So that was £5,000.
The caller told Paula the only way to protect her money was to put it into a new safe account he set up for her. So with him still on the phone, she authorised the transfer of £5,000.
So this £5,000 moved to this separate account.
Yeah.
Once you'd done that, what was the conversation like?
The guy said, we will send you a new card in the post. It should be there Monday, Tuesday. If there's any problem in the meantime, here's my number.
So what happened?
So by the Wednesday, I was waiting for a card to come and it hadn't come.
OK.
Phoned up the number.
Yeah. What happened?
It wasn't there, Michelle.
No, it wasn't there, but I want to know if, like, when she called the number, was there any weird music?
No.
Or is it like, you've been hacked, or, you know, what, like...
Just rang.
Just rang.
Just rang.
Very disappointing.
Paula rang her bank's fraud hotline and they confirmed her worst fears. She'd been scammed.
felt sad. Sad that someone had done that. Because when you meet people in life and they're very calm and very reassuring with you, you assume that they want the best for you.
Yeah.
And then I felt a little bit cross.
With who?
With myself.
Why?
For not picking up on it.
No way. You telling us now, it just sounds so professional. I think we would have probably done the same thing ourselves.
A few weeks after the scam, Paula's bank did refund the £5,000 that was stolen, but that didn't restore her peace of mind.
Having had this experience, has that made you more wary moving forward?
I was quite wary for the next few months.
Yeah.
Whenever I got a call from a bank, I would be a little bit more wary about it.
I guess there are some things that we're generally more wary of than others. Like, you'll receive certain texts sometimes or phone calls and you'll be like, oh no.
That's true, texts and emails.
Emails, I just delete them all.
Yeah.
All of them?
Yeah.
No, even when Michelle sends me I just delete it. I think, oh gosh, was that Michelle? I can't see, it's my eyes.
But then you might lose an important one.
The important ones always come back. That's the way I look at it. If it's important, they'll come back.
We've enlisted a team of ethical hackers to investigate the information available online that could have exposed Paula and helped scammers walk off with £5,000 of her money. Our hackers are here to ensure Paula knows exactly how to protect herself in the future and to prevent herself from being scammed all over again.
What would you like to come out of this?
What I kind of hope that they don't find anything. But because of my work, because I'm a freelancer, my details, I suspect, are quite easy to come by. I feel very nervous now.
We've set our ethical hackers off to find out what they can about Paula by searching for what's readily available online in places we might not think to look. This'll help her become more secure for the future.
Whilst I find out more about how the scammers managed to clone the number on the back of Paula's card, Michelle is hot on the trail of the banks to find out how this fraud was able to happen in the first place.
Paula was duped by a pandemic scamming epidemic that's on the rise. In 2020 alone, we lost a staggering £1.3 million in this way, every single day. Bank fraud investigator Richard Emery is no stranger to cases like Paula's.
People come to me and they say, I feel terrible. And I say, you are the victim, you have been socially engineered, you have been manipulated by some incredibly clever people, to the point where if they put you on hold, they will actually have the hold music from your bank as the background music. They know the script, they know the words, they know exactly what's going to happen.
Are there any do's and don'ts that we should be looking out for?
Yeah. One of the key words that you should be looking out for is the word confirm. Could you please confirm your name? Yes, Richard Emery. Thank you. Would you please confirm your national insurance number? Now, intellectually, we think the word confirm means I can see it, I want you to tell me what it is.
Absolutely.
Because that's not what the fraudster is doing. They're using that word to create that impression.
What I'm getting from this is it's very, very difficult sometimes to know what the right thing is to do. How can we generally start better protecting ourselves?
The first and most important thing is don't allow yourself to be rushed. You must pay this invoice. You must send this money to somebody. And therefore you have to be willing to just say, I don't feel entirely comfortable.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. Really good tip.
Secondly, never, never, ever, in any circumstances whatsoever, move your money to a safe account. It is absolute nonsense.
Right.
There are no circumstances at all, under which a bank will ask you to move your money. If there is a security risk associated with your account, the bank will freeze your account, the bank will make the appropriate arrangements to move money to a new account, the bank will sort out the problem. Okay. You must not ever, ever, ever move money to a safe account.
We're shoring up the banking side of things, but what are the ways the hackers can get our details in the first place?
Passwords are like the key to your digital house. If you choose a bad one, it's like leaving the front door open and letting the scammers come in for tea.
A recent survey shows that we Brits have between 70 and 80 online passwords, far more than most people can easily remember, which is why many of us may be choosing riskier passwords without even knowing.
Invariably, you end up using the same password wherever you can.
Don't try and use too many, because I forget them anyway, so just normally keep it to 2 or 3.
I have a capital letter in the beginning, I have a capital letter in the middle, and I have numbers at the end, and I also have punctuation.
Following a dramatic rise in online crime this year, cybersecurity experts Nexor believe that creating the right password is more important than ever.
We live in a society these days where people live their lives online, everything is accessible, and so it's very easy to find out a lot of information about people. No one is immune to a cyber attack. You can be sat at home thinking, oh, you know, nobody's going to be interested in my details, nobody's going to care about what my password is. But chances are you will have an online shopping account, you will have online banking, you know, maybe you have a government gateway account to access your tax records. All of these are of interest to a hacker. They want to get that information because it's gold, it's valuable to them.
Trying to remember passwords is a job in itself. More and more websites require new users to create passwords featuring a hard-to-remember combination of letters, numbers and unique characters. So, what are the common mistakes we fall into?
People try to pick something that is memorable to them. Part of the survey that we carried out, between sort of 12 and 15% are using their pets' names or a family member's names. 6% use their sports team. 6% of people use a variation on the word password. The problem you have with that is if you're on any form of social media, it's giving the hackers that ability to be able to get that information about you and make an attempt to try and crack your passwords.
I never realised we were so predictable. We'll find out later how we can properly protect our passwords. In the meantime, I want to find out how clued up Mum is when it comes to staying safe online.
So go on, what are you like with your passwords, Mum?
I hate passwords, and I do tend to sort of have the same one, although I try to make them slightly different. But if I make them too complicated, I never remember them.
I bet you've used me in one of your passwords.
Do you know what? You're going to be disappointed about this, love. I haven't. Not even slightly.
Hold on a minute, why not?
Because I've thought of better passwords. Everybody would expect me to use your name.
OK, right, let me give yours a guess.
Don't say any passwords.
I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it probably involves a holiday.
Maybe. Oh, my goodness, it's a good job you're not a scammer. Because I'd be done.
It's not just about a scammer's ability to guess a password. The trickster's kit box is full of emotional tools to help them get their hands on your hard-earned cash. From threat and misdirection to preying on the goodwill of others. Part-time church administrator Mia thought she was doing the right thing when she agreed to buy some online store vouchers for her new minister.
I got an email, supposedly from my boss, and he's asked me to get him some vouchers and then email it to him. So I thought, fine. And he said that I should not let anybody know because he wants to surprise, you know, some staff helping out, getting the church ready to reopen for services. I thought, OK, that's a nice boss.
What sort of amount of money was it that he asked you to?
He asked me to buy £600 vouchers.
Is that something that's quite normal to spend?
Oh, yeah, because I basically buy everything in the church. So, yeah, I didn't feel out of place.
No, it didn't feel out of place at all.
No.
That actually seems like a really lovely thing.
Yes.
Without access to the church funds, Mia used her own money to buy the vouchers. But after securing the first 6, the person emailing then asked for and received a further 6 vouchers, totalling £1,200. When they asked for a third time, Mia smelt a rat.
I thought, I know that there are quite a lot of leaders in the church, But, you know, more than 12, that was a little bit, you know, suspicious. But then generally, if there's any purchase, like, you know, huge amount, I would always call the treasurer in the church. But I couldn't because he's part of the leadership, you see.
And was he one of the people that was going to get one of these
Possibly.
£100? And so when you got that email and you became suspicious, who did you call?
I did try to get my own minister, but I couldn't get hold of him. He doesn't have a mobile phone.
He's not tech savvy.
Yeah.
And this all plays into being so easily scammed, though, doesn't it? New situation, you know, new person that you're working with. It's so easy to see how it just went from one stage to the next to the next.
That's right.
Then a message from a colleague confirmed Mia's suspicions.
The other churches was like informing us that there was a scam going on. And I said, oh my gosh, you know, it was too late for me. I've already done it.
The scam emails had been sent from an address created to mirror her boss's actual email address. So, at first glance, nothing seemed amiss.
The email address, how different was it from the actual, your boss's email?
It's different, actually. I realised, you know, instead of using methodist.co.uk or something like that, but this one, they put Christian Bible or something. And the other thing is, he's very smart. He quotes verses from the Bible as well.
That's not very godlike, is it?
No, no. I really feel stupid. Most of the time, it's like quite embarrassing telling people that you've been scammed.
You shouldn't think of yourself as stupid because it's happening at all levels. They are very, very clever.
So are you and your fellow church members, do you feel like you're on almost high alert now?
Yes. I don't think I would ever buy anything and send it to them unless I speak to that person.
Isn't it interesting because we spend our lives communicating via email to make things a lot more efficient, really. And it's almost like we have to reverse that.
That's
and
right.
we might get an email, but then we've got to follow it up with a phone call.
Yes.
£1,200, that's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of money. It's 2 months of my salary working for the church 1 day a week.
So, understandably, you want questions answered, why it happened and how it happened, so that you or nobody else would have to lose any amount of money, £1 or £100 or £1,000.
Yeah. I hope to, you know, help other people not fall into the same trap as I have.
Let's see what we can do.
Thank you so much.
The criminals who targeted Mia preyed on her goodwill to gain access to her money. In much the same way Paula's scammers built a relationship of trust in order to empty her bank account. To get an insight into the way fraudsters think, I'm meeting up with clinical psychologist Dr Roberta Babb.
How sophisticated do you think scammers need to be on a psychological level?
I think it varies really, because we're talking about an age-old crime. You know, it's been done since the dawn of time, so it depends on what people are looking for, how sophisticated they need to be, how aware of technology they are, but also how aware they are of the social context, because they're having to use the social context to create a sense of urgency and fear and anxiety.
So that ability to be able to socially engineer people could ultimately lead to the scammer being more successful.
Most definitely. They're always looking for ways in, they're trying to find a little bit about you, what makes you tick, what makes you anxious, what's going to make you give up your secrets that allows them to unlock doors that they shouldn't actually have permission to enter.
What type of people do you think scammers look for? Is there a certain profile?
A scamming relationship is a coercive relationship. It depends on the type of scam. So if you're thinking about having to actually transfer money, so they're looking for people who are going to be anxious, trusting. They're going to be looking for people who are people-pleasing, someone who wants to avoid conflict and doesn't want to do the wrong thing.
How important is the use of empathy for a scammer?
Every time a scammer has an interaction with someone, it's an opportunity to learn something. So if you have empathy, you have the capacity to understand another person's viewpoint, so that when scammers wanting to extract money, they can really tap into the buttons that link to wanting to help someone, feeling guilty, feeling anxious. But they're very egocentric. They're very focused on meeting their own needs. But they don't actually have to have a sense of empathy themselves, because if they did, they wouldn't be able to do what they're doing.
What do you think we can be doing to help better protect ourselves when it comes to our own emotions?
First thing I say would be to breathe. A good scam, for want of a better word, they're looking to stress you, because when you're stressed, you don't think clearly. What happens is our amygdala, a little structure in our brain, is like our smoke alarm. It says there's danger, which then leads people to feel more stressed. The more stressed someone is, they're more likely to act impulsively and in an irrational way. And that's a perfect storm for actually getting people to do the things you want to do. The great thing about the breath is that it gives you space, kind of turns off your amygdala, brings your prefrontal cortex back online, and you can start to think. Why are HMRC calling me when I'm not self-employed? Or if it's an email, you might be able to then look at the email address and say, actually, that does not look anything like the organisation it comes from. So by breathing, you really do give yourself a chance just to kind of calm down and check in with yourself.
It's almost like creating an invisible barrier between you and the scammer, isn't it?
Exactly. It could be as big or as small as you want, but breathing is key in just breaking that sense of anxiety, essentially the scammer's grip on you.
That makes so much sense. It's only when you take a step back you can really see what's going on. Having learnt about the psychology of the scam from Roberta, I'm meeting up with Mum to discuss my findings.
I met with a great psychologist, Mum, and she gave some really good advice if you're on the phone to someone that you don't feel that comfortable with. She basically said to take a step back and breathe. And I think that's actually a good message for you and everyday life. You know, sometimes it's just good to take a second and breathe.
Are you referring to when you ring me? Because I know when you ring me, I'm always expecting a problem.
Hold on a minute. When you ring me, literally I don't get a word in. So I think this could be good for the both of us. When you call me and you go in like the clappers, I can say, breathe.
It is good advice. I know I've always been told, stop and think before you open your mouth, Mavis.
Because if you don't do it at the start, Mum, you'll never breathe. Try it and breathe.
I feel better already, love.
Both Mia and Paula have agreed to put themselves in the hands of the hackers once more. But this time, it's one of our ethical hackers who'll be in control. These superheroes of the cyber world use the criminals' own techniques to root out our security weak spots and help us stand strong against the scammers' attacks. ICRA holds a master's in preventing online crime and has made a disturbing discovery for Mia's security.
Tell us what you found.
So Mia hasn't just been involved in one data breach, but has been involved in several.
That's quite worrying. I'm not sure how she's going to take that. Several data breaches. What exactly is a data breach?
So a data breach is basically when an individual has had their details exposed or leaked without their permission or their consent. And it could be out there on the internet for years before they discover it. And a lot of the time this happens is companies have security flaws that they haven't checked in on properly. It could even be human error.
That's quite unsettling, isn't it?
So what you're saying, we can't actually do anything about the data breaches?
We may not be able to do much about the data breaches, but we can gain that information on where my details are and where they've been exposed. There are public information tools out there, websites that can give you that information for you. For example, a website, haveibeenpawned.com, and then it can give you back information on companies that had that information but have been breached, as well as other information that was associated with you that have been breached, such as IP addresses, locations, and so on.
Really good to know. Thanks for that, ICRA.
Thank you so much.
A data breach can be scary, but there are ways you can take back control. Firstly, confirm the breach and the data that's been stolen. Then change and strengthen your logins, passwords and security questions for that site. And finally, report any suspect activity to the relevant authorities, including action fraud. Once the data is out there, you can't get it back, but you can be vigilant and stop anyone using it against you.
There's a lot of information out there about what we shouldn't be doing with our passwords, but what are the things we can all do to keep our information safe? Easy to remember passwords are exactly what hackers are looking for, so longer, more complex passwords are one solution.
Complexity helps, but length is actually more important. If you have a password of 8 characters that's just using letters, a hacker is generally going to attack that in a couple of hours. If you start increasing that to 12 characters, that's going to take about 600 years. And that's just increasing the length. That's not adding numbers, that's not adding special characters. If you were to then add that complexity in as well, the time taken for somebody to break that password is going to be around about 6,000 years, so chances are that's going to be okay for you.
Longer passwords might make you safer, but that doesn't make it any easier to remember. Some people are still guilty of writing down passwords, and everyone we spoke to did.
Unless you've got an unusually good memory, you will have to write them down.
I don't think it really matters so long as you're the only one that can see it.
Maybe the best way of keeping track is to have maybe like a physical copy at home in a safe place.
So, if you're going to do it, where would you keep it?
There's tools out there that can help us. The National Cybersecurity Centre will recommend that you use your browser to save passwords. Your browser can also generate a secure password for you, and this will be a long string of characters that you're probably not going to remember because it's just going to be random letters and capitalisations, but your browser will remember all that for you. A password manager is a tool or an application that you can install on your mobile phone or your tablet or your laptop. And basically it stores all of your usernames and passwords in it. So we don't have to remember hundreds of passwords.
With security breaches costing us almost £3 million last year, are we taking this as seriously as we should be?
If it's something that's not important, then I let Google remember.
I've got hundreds of passwords stored in the Google browser, and I know for a fact that maybe 60 or 70 of them I need to go and change to something that's more secure.
Well, I keep them on my phone, and to access that, you've got to have your Face ID.
We shouldn't be taking risks with our passwords. So what other tools are there to help us?
We use multi-factor authentication at work, which basically means when you log in, it will then ask you for another passcode that is generated on a separate device, something that proves you are you and you have hold of that device.
With Facebook and Instagram these days, you have like a 2-factor authorization. So say if you have forgotten your password, they'll send you a text and an email. So just in case somebody's then hacked into your email, you'll get a text saying, is this you? They'll give you a code and then you reset it with your email. So I think that's really, really helpful.
Be aware if anybody is asking you to share your password with them, that is not a genuine request. Your bank will never need your password to confirm who you are. You should not use the same password for multiple sites, because if one site gets breached, an attacker could gain access to that second site or that third site that all use the same credentials. Pick that long, secure password, maybe change it once a year, just in case anyone has found it. We need to try and educate as many people as we can so that they're not at risk of being attacked by criminals who are basically after their data and fundamentally their money.
Online scammers are constantly coming up with new ways to exploit our soft spots for their gain. And even the most cyber-savvy of us can get caught out. An email hacker posed as a vicar and tapped into church worker Mia's faith and goodwill.
He said that he wants to surprise some staff helping out, getting the church ready to reopen for services. I thought, okay, that's a nice boss.
But they swindled her out of 2 months' wages.
I really feel stupid. Most of the time, it's like quite embarrassing telling people that you've been scammed.
The scammer has left the door open for Mia to worry about what might be out there to make her vulnerable to further attacks. So our team of ethical hackers have been probing into her online persona to prevent this happening again.
Mia hasn't just been involved in one data breach, but has been involved in several.
That's quite worrying. We're meeting her back at HQ to share what they found.
We're going to go through the information that we found in relation to your case. But what we found generally is the more data that's available on you, the more likely you'll be targeted by scammers.
Okay.
Now, there's quite a lot of information about you online. Personal details, your height, your weight, your dress size.
Oh, really?
Very easy to get hold of.
I didn't know that one was on it.
But what we also found was your full home address.
Wow.
The work that you do
at your church and the location of that church. We were also able to find your mobile number available in a lot of places, including your social media. Maybe you might decide to remove it from some places, or maybe think about adapting your privacy settings maybe on your social media.
That's good advice, because I put my number there mainly for my friends and family, you know, to contact me, but yeah.
Well, there's a lot of friends and family around the world now that are called scammers.
So where did you find all this information?
That's just from an initial search. Anybody essentially could find that information online.
Okay.
Are you concerned about the information that's out there at present about you?
I feel exposed, actually.
Yeah.
The more information they have about you, you know, they can sound more convincing, isn't it?
Exactly. Information is power.
Definitely.
And all that kind of information, your statistics, I mean, there's all kinds of fraud.
right.
And that kind of information would lend itself to identity fraud.
Definitely,
So,
yeah.
you know, it is a concern, isn't it?
Yep.
But the worst is yet to come. Now, when we looked further into your online footprint, Mia, we found that your data has actually been involved in at least 14 data breaches.
Right.
So a data breach is basically when a company is attacked by hackers and individuals find their details exposed as a result. 14 data breaches is a significant number.
That was a sharp intake of breath, Mia. Does that surprise you?
I think it just puzzles me. I don't even know what they've used it for.
When a data breach happens, it means it is out there. It's out there for everybody to see. So we advise you change as many of your passwords as soon as possible.
Don't think, just do it.
Exactly.
That's
that's
I like
great.
your attitude,
That's
Mia,
really
so you're on
good.
it.
But unfortunately, the nasty surprises don't just stop at data breaches. If you turn over this piece of paper here, Mia,
Okay.
this is really interesting,
Yeah, my
actually. We
glasses.
were quite surprised by this.
Okay.
We found that the person who scammed you has been scamming lots of people all over the world.
This is a huge scam. I mean, it's crazy.
Really?
It's a global scam. This is a report of the problem we found in Canada, with churches warning about this particular scammer doing the exact same thing that they did to you.
Wow.
It's quite shocking when you see it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm quite shocked that it's that far away, the same scam that's happened to you is happening on the other side of the
I'm not
world.
surprised, yeah. It's horrible, isn't it?
It's an incredibly clever scam done in a very manipulative, targeted way all around the world.
Yeah.
I'm a person who is not easily scared of anything, but, you know, information out there is kind of scary.
It shook you a little bit.
Yeah. Having gone through the whole scam, I feel that, you know, all scammers are, I don't know, they've got no conscience whatsoever. And I'm also angry with myself for being stupid.
But you weren't stupid.
We're speaking to so many different experts. These scammers are key manipulators.
Yeah.
So we can protect ourselves as much as we possibly can, but it happens, and it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. Not going to be scammed again.
Good.
I love it. That is good fighting talk, Mia.
Yeah. In a way, it's relief and yet, you know, daunting.
To have all that information relayed to you all in one go, it's a lot.
I think she'll reflect on it, and I think she'll be very, very proactive.
From what I've learned, I'm going to take positive action to make it difficult for them so that they will not be able to scam me anymore.
Mia's armed with the weapons she needs to fight back against the cyber criminals and ensure she's protected in the future. But working mum Paula is a different kettle of fish. A well-timed and well-rehearsed phone call from a scammer caught her off guard.
It was around 6 o'clock. The kids were around, so it was a busy time of the evening.
The fraudster posed as her bank and convinced her there were hackers trying to steal her money.
They told me that someone had tried to use my card to buy Mercedes, and was that me? Wasn't me.
Paula was persuaded to put her money, all £5,000 of it, into a fake safe bank account that transferred it to the scammer and away.
It was so calm, there was no reason to doubt it.
Despite getting her money back, Paula's concerned about what information there is out there on her. And she's right to be. Our ethical hackers have found a cluster of reasons to worry.
With regards to Paula, we did find a password. It may be an old password, but that can still be a little bit problematic for her.
So this is serious.
Yeah, absolutely. We are creatures of habit, and we do get comfortable using the same password over and over again for several accounts.
You're so right there. I think this is a good wake-up call for all of us because it's so easy to think of key names or dates that relate to us for passwords.
Yeah, we're all guilty of that, but we all need to change, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing how we think we're very, very careful and there's nothing out there on me, and then you find out that there is.
What do you think Paula's going to say, Mum, when we tell her passwords have been compromised? Because she seems quite tech-savvy and quite on it.
I think she'd be quite shocked. Not like me, I'd expect something like that to just be out there because I'm not as careful. But she seemed like she had it all together. But it just shows you, doesn't it? It can happen to anyone, so I think she'll be shocked.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how well she's going to take it.
No, but she'll learn something from it, and that's the main thing.
As well as the leaked password, ICRA has discovered a string of security issues for Paula. So we've invited her back to HQ to deliver some uncomfortable news.
So Paula, when we were chatting last time, one of the things was you were quite distracted when the scammers gave you a call. Lots of different things were going on in the household.
Yes, it was about 6 o'clock on a Friday evening, so I was getting the kids fed, getting ready to go out.
Oh, yeah, 6 o'clock is the optimum go. Well, any time that they've, you know, like lunch times, evening times, early evening, weekends, they're thinking, right, people are sort of winding down now, they're not thinking as sharp.
That in itself is almost a type of vulnerability that scammers play on. When we talk of vulnerability, we see it as those kind of big issues, but actually being vulnerable can just be as simple as being busy doing other things and not really concentrating as much.
But I don't feel like I was being in a vulnerable position or that they were playing on my vulnerability. They're just very, very clever and organised.
Oh, there's
and
no
I think
doubt
that's
about
the
that.
difference. As human beings, we can't be on 100% alert all the time.
It's not normal.
Well, this is why the scams work. They know this about us, and it's all the psychology that they're using. And that's what I think everybody that's been in a situation like that needs to remember. It is not your fault. They are trained at that. They spend their days, nights, lives doing this. They're professionals.
The scammers also called you back, didn't they?
Yeah, on the number that was on the back of my car.
There is actually a thing called number spoofing.
Number spoofing?
We are seeing a significant rise in this. Scammers can pretend to be your bank, they can pretend to be from the HMRC, DVLA, wherever.
So they can copy it?
They can copy the number.
I think that's the scary thing. These people are scarily intelligent. Is that even a word, scarily?
Yeah, it is now.
With the general findings out of the way, it's time to deliver the more shocking elements of our foray into Paula's online weak spots.
What did we find out about you that meant you were a potential target? Because we know you're active on social media, and general public might be able to find a certain extent, but a professional hacker can find a lot more.
Do you realise that you're revealing a lot of your personal information or life online?
I think the thing is that when you post online, you post in the moment, and what you don't think is the bigger picture.
But you might be surprised about the level of information the hackers were able to get on you. And not just you, but your family. They found the names and in some cases the addresses associated with your father, your partner and your children. It was also possible to see the sports your children play for, even the positions that they've played in.
Wow, I know what I feel like now. thinking, and I'm just putting myself in your shoes and everybody else's shoes when somebody says they've got information on your father. I feel offended. What do you mean you've got information on me? What do you mean you've got information on my children? What do you mean you know what sport we play?
Yeah, it is, yeah, it's uncomfortable. A little bit shocked about addresses, particularly being able to find, for instance, my dad's address.
And the nasty surprises don't stop there.
One of the most worrying things for us, really, with your case is something our ethical hackers were able to find. If you turn that card over there...
Is this going to be my password?
We'll have a look.
Do you just have a look?
Is that a password that you've ever used?
A long time ago. But what's interesting is that password is something that's very associated with me. We always use passwords related to us. We should try and be a bit more imaginative.
Be creative.
Paula, we also believe that several other passwords for yourself have been compromised and your email details have been exposed in several data breaches. So if there are any accounts that use that password still, it's definitely worth changing it.
Okay.
Is this surprising to you? Would you expect that information to be so accessible?
The scary thing is that, yes, lots of information is out there, but the fact that people want to use that negatively against you is the concern, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not within our control. The one thing that we can control is updating our passwords.
Yeah.
The main thing around all of this, Paula, is essentially the more data that we have on ourselves out there, the easier it is for scammers to build up a picture and target us.
I think it brings it home, doesn't it? And I think it's not a bad thing to reassess what we're posting and also how and frequently we change our passwords and what our passwords are.
We live our lives online, so we have to be more cautious, and there are things that we can put into place to make that safer for us. We lock our front doors, we need to lock online.
Yeah. I think this will change how I behave online for good. I totally see that there's a connection as to what you reveal about yourself and the likelihood of you getting scammed.
Paula's the type of person that's always going to have a presence online. It's part of what she does. But I think going forward, she will be far more conscious of not only what she's putting online, but her passwords.
I'm not going to stop posting online, but I'm just going to stop and think for a minute before posting.
Paula was pretty switched on, wasn't she? But even she got caught out.
This is the thing, it just goes to show, and it can be the time that a scammer calls that leaves you most exposed. So don't be afraid to put the phone down and double check everything is legit. It might just save you thousands. Delve deeper into the world of cybercrime and online scams with the Open University. From phishing and malware to Trojans and worms. Head to bbc.co.uk/scammers and follow the links to the Open University.
4 people, 3 fibbers, 1 house. Can you guess who's telling the truth and who gets to say, "This is my house"? Watch now on iPlayer. And tonight on BBC One, the hunt for the mystery spy copy intensifies as Sherwood, starring David Morrissey and Robert Glenister, continues at 9.